Oh, okay.
Is she back and gone again? I think she did something in her face.
It's her
Staff, any progress, or she'll let us know, but she's in the place where she needs to be. And I want to thank Lana Bolajak for doing the board, the training, and everything, and Miriam. They do just a tremendous job on what they do preparing for this. A lot goes into this, and it has to be done. It has to be in order to meet the law. It has to be, what is it, 10 days ahead of time? Has to be, yeah. So this all has to be done ahead of time. Next thing is, I have some board members who have done the evaluation, but those of you who have not, please do it right away. Tomorrow I'm off. I'd love to do that and get that done. So for Juneteenth, that could be my work tomorrow, to go ahead and get that done. Just get that to me if you can. And then the next thing is, I was unable to go to the budget hearing.
Oh, right.
So I'd love for the board people who were there to tell me what happened.
So let's see. Keith was there. We had a good.
All of us were there, yeah. It was a big love-in. It was great.
Yeah, it was a big love-in.
A love-in.
We had more people than anyone, yet again. And Terry understands what the budget committee wants to hear. And she presents the facts about the library in such a way that it kind of answers the questions that they might ask. And she nailed it and knocked it out of the park. And like the whole room, we all clapped at one point when she finished because she did such a great job.
And they said, no, we've not had anybody clap at a budget hearing
Yeah.
before.
Susan too, they're quite the team, so it was amazing.
That's great.
They gave her compliments that it was the best presentation from start to finish as far as like the storytelling of how the data kind of tells like the impact, and there was no detail left behind. And so they gave a lot of praises on how the report was written in such a way
Great.
that it was the best that they've seen.
Oh, good.
And also, she threw in there, I thought this was pretty gutsy, that, we need more money for collections.
Okay.
So it was, thank you, but we got a ways to go. And I thought that was pretty good.
That is great. Any other comments? That's good. I guess I can go back and listen to it. I'm sure it's available. I didn't.
Yeah, we know that it takes a team effort to get it all done, but you can tell how much the staff, the detail, the storytelling, that they really studied this craft to the point where to get that overwhelming of a praise. Sorry, I do this to you every time. To get that much of a praise, given that the conversation before with the group prior to, we're in questioning for at least over 20 minutes, and
Wow.
that's unheard of. And so to see that the report was done so eloquently and so detailed, that ours went so smoothly, it just talks to the work that the staff has also done to make sure that she has all of the information that she needs.
It was also interesting to me that, there was just one positive comment after another, but to the extent there is a political spectrum in council, I thought it kind of spanned the political spectrum, which was nice.
Well, I did see one council person at an event, and she commented on it. So she said she thought it went really well.
Yeah.
She was proud of us. That was George Stiles. On the 24th, don't forget about the opening of the Donaldson branch. So is that 10 o'clock? 9:30. Joyce, it's hard to see on your phone. 9:30, I'm glad you said it, 9:30. So those of you who can be there, I know some people had the tour already, and I'm thankful staff for doing that too, so that the board could see it. But so those of us who have not done the tour, we'll be really anxious to see it. I can't wait. So minutes, I hope you have an opportunity to look at the minutes. Any changes, corrections, additions? Okay,
I mean, there's some typos, some things that, like numbers, it was trying to compare 23 to 24, and it says 24 twice, and it's just,
well, just make sure we correct it.
Okay.
Where is that? Page, give us a page.
let's see,
I
page
see it.
16, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought it was trying to show, compare year to year.
Page what?
16,
16.
or maybe it's May,
That's the card holders.
yeah, and maybe it's saying May 24. It seemed like it ought to be comparing some to 23.
Where is it? Is that the end?
No,
You're saying
right.
page 16. 16 is the,
Cardholder,
the
percentage of the
cardholder
population served.
oh,
Well, that's not in the minutes, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
not
not
a
a minute,
minute.
sorry.
okay. Thank you,
You're right.
though. We still see that.
Yeah,
We can get that done. Any other corrections? So there won't be a correction to the minutes, but thanks for pointing that out.
I'm curious.
Yes.
On page 17, where it says total computer use,
Uh-huh.
what resource you all use to get that information?
Envisionware,
Pardon me?
Envisionware.
Envisionware. Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right, now.
Move we
again,
approve the
These
minutes.
are not the minutes, but,
Motion to approve.
yeah,
Motion to approve.
yes. Motion to approve. There's a
I'll
motion.
second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Okay, next is, Linda is going to be giving the report today on Lou Terry. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. On behalf of our interim director, Terry Luke, she would like to relate the following information. She wants to say a sincere thank you to everyone who attended the Metro Council budget hearing. She appreciates all of your support. We've already mentioned that Donaldson is having its grand opening on June 24th at 9:30. Summer Reading Challenge is from June 1st through July 31st. Join us for the Summer Reading Challenge. We want everyone in Nashville to participate in this program. We are already at 38% of our patron registration, so we're starting off with a bang. Your Mind Matters podcast. This mental health initiative hosts conversations with local mental health advocates on various topics through a mental health lens. It is hosted by Bassam Habib, who is our Be Well coordinator, and Lana Bolajak, who is an assistant to me. Magellans of the Air, the current exhibit in Metro Archives, tells the abbreviated story of the first flight to the globe, a significant event that unfolded a century ago. What makes it particularly noteworthy for Nashville, it is because one of the mechanics on board of the expedition was none other than Nashville's own John Jack Harding. So it's really special.
Where is that?
It's called Magellans of the
No,
Air.
I'm saying, is it
Archives.
downstairs or what's in the archives? Okay,
Third
third
floor.
floor. Okay. Wow.
Conversations at NPL, an evening with Catherine Switzer. Switzer is an American marathon runner, author, and television commentator. The auditorium was filled for this event that featured Switzer as the first woman to run the Boston Marathon as an officially registered competitor. And then the last thing that we'd like to give you a brief update on is that you all have been informed that we will be closing Maine on August the 19th. The administrative team, Lee, Jenna, Fanta, Sherry, myself, Kyle, I think that's everyone. We've been working diligently to put together a master plan to detail everything from who needs to work from home, who needs to be reassigned to another branch, how we are going to get the information out to our public in enough time so that if they need to change their holds or hold their holds while we're closed. And Susan will be back next week because she's received some more information on the details on how long certain areas are going to be closed down. Of course, yeah, we won't know the gist of those things until they get inside of the walls and start digging, but we are trying to be as proactive as possible, and the goal is for us to meet as a team on a weekly basis so that we can stay on top of things, and we will keep you informed as changes occur.
the expectation right now is August 19th through
October, could go as long as October,
Okay.
the first couple of weeks in October. Okay.
And I know it's close, I can't remember why.
AC.
See, the
Okay.
air conditioner, Any PR plans? Where's PR plans for pushback and everything that happens with that?
Yes, so we'll approach it from issue.
Speak up a little bit. Yeah, thank you.
Please.
Is this okay for us? So we'll approach it from a customer service standpoint, just the nuts and bolts of what people need to know, but also from an issue management standpoint to really try to explain why this is needed, why it's this long, what people can expect, who people can call for more information, always have a real person who can take feedback. But we have a template from other extended closures, and we'll
Okay.
just build on that one.
Mayor's office knows,
Yes.
councilperson knows.
Yes.
Joy
Also,
knows.
Kyle had let the Office of Homelessness know as well, because, we want anybody, all the groups who usually partner with us, we want everyone to know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it affect the restaurant?
That I don't know. We'll have to ask Susan whether the retail space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's on its own air unit, so I think they're.
Okay,
Okay.
What'd you say?
It's on its
got
own.
their-
Not a
They have
zone
their own.
area
Yeah.
unit.
that's great.
Okay.
Move that revenue.
And the last thing she wanted to mention is to make sure that you all vote on the two resolutions before Nadine has to leave.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All right, that's.
Well, let's get started with that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And so we have the Special Collections Book Donation Form that we talked about last time. So, Kyle,
Am I at the table or at the podium?
be wherever you want to be. I think the people who are taping, that's the only concern, that they hear you.
So I'm not sure which page the
55.
book donation form is on. I wasn't notified of that information. Do you know what page that is?
5-5.
Okay. All right, so
55.
this is to bring clarification to the Special Collections Book Donation Form. Previously, it was, actually, let me just read this. So previously, when Kyle was here last time, it was for any book donation to the Special Collections Division must first be donated to the Library Board and have the Library Board's approval for acceptance of the donation on behalf of the Special Collections Division. What this book donation reformation means is that this builds a direct relationship between the Special Collections Division and the person donating the book. The process on how that works is once book donations are proposed to us, they are given to us, and we decide upon that via the acquisitions team. That must be in alignment with the Special Collections Development Policy, which was presented to you by me at the, I think that was Bellevue, which got approved. So anything that is in alignment with the Special Collections Development Policy, we will accept. To bring more clarification on that, that is given to us by way of anything that is specifically Nashville-specific and/or Tennessee-centric. Once it is received and voted upon, we receive that, and then we acquisition that, or should I say, post-acquisition, we accession that into the collection as a record to be used for research purposes, and then it is open to the public for research purposes. So this document removes the need for, if it was ever needed at all, for the library board to be needed for a book to be decided upon. That is directly through us, for we are confident and competent to make that happen. And then we receive it into our collection and it's used for the public. So that's the purpose of this reformed or revised document.
Any
Any
questions?
questions about that?
Any questions? Need a motion?
Move we approve.
A motion to approve, need a second?
So let me just ask.
Let's get the motion and then we do.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I need a second to put it on the floor. You can always rescind it. I just need a second for.
Well, I'll
discussion.
second so we can talk about it.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Kate. Second.
Good.
Okay, questions, comments, discussion.
So this must be much more of a problem than, I feel like it, what has been happening with the board's approval that needs to change? And the reason I ask, I think sometimes the board involvement can help the community relate to the library. And so it might be useful to have the board's involvement, and I don't know why that is a cost or a negative.
I would say where the library board could possibly come into play is if we get a collection that has a more of a political feel, and we need to be worried about how that's received by the public, because our collection is a reflection of the library that we serve. So I think that would be the best situation where the library board's input or suggestion would come into play. But on a regular basis, as regular business as we conduct it, these are usually collections that are added to the collections that we already have, or small book donations based upon the collections that we already have that just get expanded upon accordingly. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you could make a distinction, and if that would be useful or necessary, or how other libraries handle it.
Do we know how other libraries handle?
So on a public library level, it's literally the same way, more or less. So again, acquisitions teams or the manager of that department, but usually it's delegated to the team based upon what the collection needs and how it's going to serve the community. That's pretty much the gist of it across the board, excluding academic, but just on a public library level.
So I thought it was our previous board meeting, we had the resolution before us
And maybe
about,
I can
you know,
change it.
a full resolution about this, which we questioned. And then he said there was something happened in Bellevue. We approved that resolution? Did I
Yeah, so
miss that?
what I presented at Bellevue was the revised special collections and development policy.
Okay, so there must have been a meeting I didn't attend.
Correct.
I think you were there, but anyway.
You had to
We
go
also
do,
did like the main collections policy and then.
can you speak up? We can.
Yeah, we also did the main collection policy, so the entire policy for the Nashville Public Library collection. And then we coupled with that Chenadou's special collections policy. So it wasn't on the agenda, but they were both approved as one. And it was at the Bellevue meeting.
I did attend the Bellevue
Yeah, you
meeting,
were.
but I didn't, okay, well, so all we're doing is approving this form, right? Is that?
That's what I'm saying, feeling, that's what we're doing. Can you confirm that that's what we're doing?
Correct.
Okay.
How often are you getting things into the special collection?
So on average, we get about 3 offers a month, give or take. Usually out of that 3, we will accept 1. So to put that into perspective, from 2020, it has decreased, but now that things are picking up, we kind of get a steady influx of book donations to add to the collections that we already have.
So in the report this time, there was something about 18 photographs from the Nashville banner, I think.
Yeah.
So technically, before the policy change, that would have to come before us? Is that what you're saying? I mean, we're saying, I mean, we shouldn't have, I mean, I don't care anything about approving that, but are you saying that before the policy change, technically, we would have had to approve that?
Yes. Now, to put that into perspective, to add context, I don't know if that has ever happened, because this document must have existed back when the library first opened or back when the Special Collections Department was actually developed. So, but since I've been here, or even when Andrea Blackman was here, this was not put into effect. So this was an old document.
You weren't applying the policy, in other words?
Correct. So this is the old document that just needed to be revised. That's it.
I think that's what.
I'm fine with this,
the last
really.
time.
I mean, I share Kate's concern that there may be times when you sort of want the board involved.
So there's a few caveats here that we mentioned about when we may want the board to be a part of it. My only, amendment here is that can we clarify that on the form, because we talk about it here, but it's not found on the form, that if it involves, anything that regards nature of, whether that is the amount, whether that is, dealing with some type of, politics and things of that nature, as you mentioned earlier, can we clarify what is the caveat that calls for the board to have an oversight over that process?
So would you want that on the form, like maybe on the form,
If-
say referral to board with a reason why it's been referred to the board?
Yeah, and just to make sure that it's also in alignment with the policy. So if that means that we need to go back and take a look at the policy to ensure that that language is a part of it, I just don't have the policy in front of me to take a look at both the form and the policy to make sure that there's congruency within language and practice. And so
Look at
that's,
Staff, body language, tell me what's going on.
yeah.
So, go ahead.
Am I missing the mark here?
Say.
I think that should be the library's decision when we should bring it to you, when we think we need the support for that. And that could vary different times, but traditionally, library boards are not involved in the development of collections.
So I think what,
Well, I don't
Correct
disagree
me if
with
I'm
that.
wrong.
Collections in general, absolutely.
want to be.
I mean, you all are the experts about
Yeah.
that. I mean, we have a collections policy, that's fine, follow the collections policy. That doesn't need to come back to us. I'm just thinking of, extraordinary pieces that come to the library.
And traditionally, I think we have done that. Anytime there was a collection, like Chinadu said, that was maybe of political significance or something, we have consulted with the board. We've brought that to the board to present it. It was never done with total approval of the board. It was not something that was voted on, but it was something that we sought your input on.
And awareness.
Yes.
I mean, that to me is a possible missed opportunity. The things you talk about when you talk about the library are the voting rights room, the Votes for Women room, and the civil rights room. Like in the community, those are very easy to relate to when you talk about them. And if there were another something that was maybe available to the library that we could capitalize on, we just hate to miss that. And we're all like-minded in terms of wanting this library to be the absolute best.
Right, right.
so I guess the primary question is, why the need for the board to approve the form when you do forms all the time? Are we down in the weeds to approve for form? That's what, so we're not? Tell us why we're not? That's what we are. That's what I'm grappling with. I don't
Yeah,
know if.
I hear that it's a policy versus practice conversation.
Yeah.
That this is what policy says, but in practice, we do something different. So you want to make sure that the forms are in alignment with practice. I get that.
Yeah.
But right now, if we're talking about that the board steps in, or they get, or they get to consult with, not maybe, approve, but consult with, just make sure, if our goal is to make sure that policy and practice are in alignment, to include that language, because it's nowhere in this form, and I don't have the policy in front of me. And so it goes against what we're trying to do if we're just talking about, well, this is when we, in practice, have let the board know. I think that's great. I think also sharing that in the policy so that it's in alignment.
Go ahead. Travis was just.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I was just gonna say, to me, it's just operational. It's not really a policy.
Correct.
That's why
So
I'm
we
concur
don't
with
need
your
to-
observation as far as the board being
And we-
involved.
And I
Correct.
want, yeah, I'm wondering, because we don't really want to make it a practice of doing your job.
Right.
Yeah, the policy is the collection and development. That's in alignment with Metro as it stands. This, as the gentleman said, is simply a practice,
Okay.
no more, no less.
So then, I know that we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second on the floor, and Attorney, I'm looking for your advice here. If this is just an operational form that they need to implement a policy that the board has already, on which the board have already voted, then what do we do with the motion and the second on the floor? What do I do with that?
So if the board believes that this is not a matter that you need to review and approve, the motion can just be rescinded.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then it dies, essentially.
okay.
If it's something where the board feels that they want to approve the form with an amendment to the form or additional information, it can be deferred again another month. The board can.
So Keith, how do you feel about your motion on the floor?
I'm happy to rescind the motion, but if you want to amend it to say, add the language that you're looking for, then
Okay,
amend it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
That's what makes the most sense to me. If we've talked around this in circles, that at whatever time to put that caveat of when to inform the board. And we can talk about, what that looks like, whether that is a voting or consultation or just giving us a heads up.
But this is only for special collections, not collections in general.
Correct.
so the motion as amended would be, we are voting on this form with addition of informing the board for special collections why the matter is being brought to the board for approval. We can clean up the language, but that's essentially.
So I guess my question to the board and to, excuse me. My question to the board and those looking for the form to be amended is, do you want to just verbally state your amendment, what you want that form to be amended to, and approve it as such, or would you like to see the form amended and it come back to the board? Those are two separate actions.
Yeah.
We've seen it
I
twice.
I think we should,
We've seen it twice.
I'd like to amend my motion to include the language that Nadine is talking about, but we don't have the exact language in front of us. I'm happy for you to just
Share
talk
the
with him
language.
afterwards about, or, offline at some point, and put the language in there. I don't think it needs to come back to us.
I don't mind to do that.
Okay, so we have amendment, so we need a second to that amendment.
Okay. Second to Nadine's amendment to include a statement for why a special collections item is being referred to the board.
And just to clarify, it is Mr. Simmons' amended motion.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Simmons amended motion. We need a second to the amendment.
Second.
Okay. All right. So we now have an amended motion on the floor to approve this with the amendment to bring any questionable item to the board with the reason for why the board, the reason for the referral. That's all in favor, say aye.
Well, you're voting on the amendment, right?
You were voting on the amendment?
Aye.
Yes. Aye. All opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention?
Give me one second.
Okay. Well, we got a quorum, we're dealing with a quorum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we have
And
four.
Katie's not here and Terry's not here. Why don't
Terry
we?
can't vote,
But I'm saying her input,
yeah.
maybe, I was going to say, let's look at them both together, the two documents aligned next time.
Sorry, give me, we have a vote on the floor. So
All right.
we can
Yeah,
abstain from
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
So we have
So we
four
have
ayes.
one.
All right, let's do
2, 3,
this.
4.
I rescind my motion. Anybody that wants to make a new motion, make it.
You withdrawing the motion?
I withdraw the
You
motion
withdrawing the
So
motion?
and the amendment.
I see, it sounds like we need,
I think we're getting too down in the weeds.
yeah, I do too.
Simple, complicated.
Yeah, so
Why don't we have the board, why don't we have the staff look at it again? Now, we still have the motion on the floor.
We have a
The
motion.
amended motion on the floor.
up for vote.
So,
Can I withdraw my motion?
well, you're right, you just withdrew the motion. Okay. So we want to kind of take it back again and talk about the why, keep it in the purview. Seems like we want to keep it in the purview of the staff, because that's the staff job, yes?
So technically, we had a motion and amendment, and we had a vote on that.
Right.
We had one abstain, but the vote did pass. So now,
Got to go back to the
can we
main
please
motion.
motion to withdraw the previous action of the board?
He has to make a motion to withdraw his previous.
Yes.
If he withdraws his own motion,
Yes, yes,
Okay.
so, yes.
Whatever
he
you want to
withdrew
do.
his own motion.
Why don't we vote on my motion, but everybody vote no?
Yeah.
But we already had the vote. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to complicate things.
No,
I just wanted to be clear.
That's why you're
We had the vote on the motion,
We know why, yeah.
So the action
We're clear on
passed.
that one, that you're here.
so the action passed. And so the board can basically, in this same session, vote again to withdraw the motion. And then, as stated, if you guys will just defer it, the chair can just defer it.
Okay, so we need a motion to vote against withdrawal?
A motion to withdraw the previous action of the board, please.
Okay, so I need a motion to withdraw the previous action.
I will move to withdraw the previous action of the board and ask staff to just clarify it, because and we'd love to be totally comfortable with what you all would like to do.
Okay, second, need a second.
Second,
Withdraw.
second,
The
second,
action,
second,
well, we
second.
have a second. Any discussion? All in favor to withdraw the previous action? Say aye.
All right,
Aye. All opposed?
Abstain.
Have one abstention.
okay, so
Motion
we're starting
carried.
all over, right?
Motion carried. Okay, so we'll start. So that,
And then, Chair, to clarify, this is being deferred to the
okay.
next meeting.
So we'll defer this until the next meeting. Have staff discuss it a little bit more. I think just the main concern is, let's keep the board hat with policy hat, and let's keep staff with operation hat. I
Yes.
think that's what the concern is. Otherwise, we are approving every form that comes to the library. Okay, so next item is interim salary increase, that's on page 56. You know, we have to approve the director's salary before July 1. And here's you have your background and discussion. And so we know that her salary, now this we know, this is in our purview. We have to approve the salary of the director. And Metro Council has proposed a 3.5% increase effective July 1. And you know that her salary was set, but she's not a civil service employee, nor is she entitled to any kind of increase. So thus, we have to approve her salary. The recommendation is to do a 7.4 pay increase if funding is available. I had the opportunity to look at all of the Metro salaries, everyone from chief of police on down through every department. And I did also look at other departments and budgets and number of employees that they, that people supervise, and felt that this was then in line to bring her up to where she needed to be. If it's to get the discussion on the floor, need a motion.
So move.
Any second?
Second.
Second, have a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, go ahead.
So, okay, so up to 7.4%
If the funding's available.
If funding.
funding's available. So
We have to see.
that then becomes in the discretion of
But, handling people,
you.
pretty much Susan. I said Susan, and Susan is not at this meeting, but she has seen all of this information we've been discussing. She thinks that's possible.
And we think funding is available. Okay. Well, I'm 100% all for it. I think she's doing a great job, and I've been concerned all along that she wasn't being paid appropriately for the job that we are asking her to do, and so I'm all for it. I hope it will be 7.4%, and I'm And thank you for your explanation, because I didn't know where that number came from.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've looked at all these other salaries and you think this is fair. So I'm all in.
I'm gonna add to that. It's not just about just the individual, but I think the position overall, that pay increase should be even more. Because I don't know the homework too, and based off the level of work that position requires, I think the pay increase should be there too.
Any more discussion?
So I guess one more question. This would pretty well shut the door on this would be, we wouldn't be discussing another pay increase or any sort of compensation adjustment for her until this time next year, I guess, right?
Yes.
Well, I just think she needs to be paid along the line, in accordance with other department heads. And I'm not saying she needs to be paid the same things Kent was paid, but frankly, I don't see why not. She's doing the same job, and I don't remember what Kent was being paid, and I don't know what she's being paid, but my view would be she ought to be paid the same, and that we need to, at some point, call her the director and not the interim director.
Any other discussion? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. I was trying to get to the staff report so we have time, make sure we have time
yeah.
today. Yay, Lee.
All right, I'm Lee Booley, Assistant Director of Collections and Technology. I want to introduce Noelle Rutherford, our materials manager. She oversees collections, cataloging, interlibrary loan, acquisitions. She's worked for the library for 17 years. She is a national expert in her area. She has been asked by the Public Library Association and Library Journal to do presentations this year because of her level of expertise. And I want to publicly thank Noelle because of procurement changes this year added a tremendous amount of work to her workload in doing something that she'd already been doing for many, many years. And she has handled this professionally with a lot of hard work, and so I just want to thank her and make you all aware that it has been a huge amount of work and it is well appreciated. She's now going to talk to you about Nature Kits, one of the really wonderful collections we have added this year. So thank you, Noelle.
She's going to make me blush with that introduction, sorry. We actually add lots of collections throughout the year. I do think the procurement has slowed things down a little bit this year as we've gotten all of our contracts as they should be. But we have added one, and we've done it in partnership with the Cumberland River Compact and the Predators Foundation. These are nature packs. I have one actually in front of me right here. It's a pretty quick slideshow. What they are backpacks that have 4 different themes: insect, creek, urban, and tree exploration. They're for children, though they can be for all ages. We were very careful to make sure that we had explanations, instructions that are in Spanish, Arabic, as well as English. Activity ideas also will be included. And there's even a QR code for customers that can tell them about their adventure. There's at least one book with every kit. That was kind of my insistence. Appropriately themed, that'll focus on identification and activities for the whole family. And then most of the equipment's geared towards, like I said, upper elementary. It can be for anyone. We're going to have these at Donaldson, Goodlettsville, and Southeast branches. And they are reservable, though, and can be picked up at any location. The reason we have them at specific branches is they do require a little cleaning sometimes because you're going out into the woods and creeks and stuff. We wanted to make sure that the branch where they're going to be housed are able and willing to clean the kits when they come back. And then they can check out for a fairly long time, 6 weeks, though we don't allow any renewals. Every kit's going to come with a list of contents that makes it easier for circulation staff. Most of them are going to have binoculars and a hand lens. Some of them will have, in this case, an observation jar, a book, containers, et cetera. They're all a little bit different depending on the theme. Everything we have is very sturdy, non-breakable, very child-friendly. And they have ideas on what you should do when you go out on these hikes and see nature. That's it. I really say we could not have done this without the Cumberland River Compact. They came to us with the idea. We didn't go to them. We had welcome ideas, especially when they put the things together. My staff were very grateful. They also will supply some replacement pieces in case things go missing or get damaged. And we're pretty excited. All of them have been checked out since they started circulating. We actually have weights of about 7 holds on each kit right now. So we know that they're very popular. And
How many
that's
are
it.
there?
We have 6 kits on each theme. And that seems to be about the right number from the holds we're gathering. It always starts out very high at the beginning and then wanes down just a little bit. So, and they usually are housed in the branches on a display. It makes it a lot easier for families coming into the library to actually discover these because they're a fairly unique collection and you don't want to just put them in a back room. Any questions, comments?
Wow.
And we have one if
We
you want to
always learn
see it.
something new, I tell you.
What's that?
I said, we always learn something new. I know.
That's
Well, we have these nature and art adventure kits that we introduced several years ago, and they're at 3 other branches. And they've been so popular that when Cumberland came to us, we said, sure, this is a no-brainer. This is wonderful.
So Cumberland River Compact pays for the
They're
backpack?
using Predator Foundation money to pay for the kits.
Oh, okay, I see.
We did pay for the embellished logo.
Yeah.
Well, they gave us a backpack, but we wanted to make sure they had a fairly unique feel to it, so we ironed on the logo.
So they really needed us for circulation purposes. I mean, I guess they couldn't. They
You
thought
need
this
the
was gonna-
backpack when you go hiking.
Yeah, well, I know, but getting the word out would have
Yeah.
been difficult without our assistance.
Yeah, if you don't have them out on display, it would be a little bit harder. There is usually no problem, though. These kits have been circulating for years, the art and nature kits, and they're constantly in demand, so.
It's a great collaboration for both parties. They get to make use of our reach as a public library, and of course, they've provided the resources, and it's a great service to provide to the people.
So you said you've been doing this for years? I
What's
thought-
that?
Not this, the other backpack, the
Yeah.
other kit.
Okay.
It's an art-
This is a new kit. There was a different kit, but similarly themed.
It's somewhat similar, has some of the same ideas. It has a little more of an art focus, and these are more, I think, a little more generic and have no replaceable consumables, so I'm very happy about that.
Who's the art partner?
You can actually draw, and there's a notebook that you can keep drawings if you go out into nature.
But what organization came to the library and said, please do these kits, or did we just do those?
Well, we could accept them as long as they meet some parameters. So,
She means with the kits that already exist for the
Mm-hmm.
nature and art, did we work with another organization?
no, we came up with that
Okay,
ourselves. So we started this, and I'm trying to remember who introduced the idea. It was quite a few years ago. One of our branch managers had this idea, not with us any longer, new collection. And I think it came through that collection proposal form. And we meet Materials Management Committee, we evaluate these collection ideas, and then the reason we have to meet is sometimes they have to meet certain practical parameters. And that was one that we adopted that year. So,
Wonderful.
Well, thank you. Thank
okay,
you.
thanks.
Amazing, always. Next, we're gonna hear. Yeah, please pass it around. Thank you. The next is the passport pilot that we're doing. It's like necessity is the mother of invention. And you all know after COVID, people began to travel again, I got caught up in this too, so yeah. Go ahead,
Yes.
Jen.
Well, I'm Jenna Schmidt, and I am now the interim director over branch services. So I'm here to introduce Angela Brady, who is, for 2 years, has been the manager of the Southeast branch. And when she came, she brought this idea of doing the passports in the library system. And it was something I always wanted to do, but we never really got off the ground. So I was so excited to hear fresh energy, fresh ideas were coming, and that she would bring the experience she had in Ohio to our branch. And or to our system. I had a similar experience too as she was working on this. My children, who are now 18, needed to get a passport, so they have to go in person. Well, you try to get an appointment to do this. I had to wait about 5 months before I could get them in. So we went out of state. It was easier to go out of state to get their passports. But now we're going to be part of the solutions. Angela.
Great. We are the solution. Thanks for this opportunity to speak to you about our brand new offerings at Southeast. A little over a month ago, we became a federally recognized passport acceptance agency.
Yay. That's amazing.
In the time that we've been an agency, we have accepted nearly 100 applications. So we started on May 13th, was our first day of starting the process, the applications. And if we count yesterday's, I think we're at 97. So we've probably hit 100 today. Since I'm not there, they're still processing. And like Jenna said, we wanted to offer this service for some time, and we'd started the process of figuring out all of the procedures. You know, there was the financial end of how were we going to collect the facility fee that's required by the Department of State that we collect. How are we going to pay for the postage? All of these factors that went into we had to figure out how we were going to do before we could even move forward. And once we're ready to start rolling, we got a call from Kristen Topping. She is the director of the constituent services of Andy Ogle's office. And she wanted the library to become a passport acceptance agency as well. And I said, well, guess what? We're already in process of this. And she said that the first thing when someone becomes a new citizen, the first thing they ask is, how can I get a U.S. passport? And so now she can refer them to us. And especially being in Antioch, we have such a wonderful mix of people and presentation. Having the passport acceptance agency there has been fantastic. So once we were ready to roll, she contacted the Charleston Passport Agency, our center, and we got things moving. We started training. Now we have 5 agents at Southeast. We've all completed the training. When we first started, we had to send our packets to Charleston, where they would be looked over by a customer service manager. The customer service manager then would send them on for the processing. And we've graduated, I'm glad to say. We have graduated from having them double-checked by a customer service manager, and we're sending our passport packets directly to a lockbox service. At the lockbox, they're then processed. The financial end, the checks and money orders are deposited, the data's entered, payments processed. Then they go from the lockbox to the regional agency, where applications are adjudicated, information is input, they're sent to a printing center, and then the passports are mailed out to the customers. So it's a great service. So what does the library get out of this? Well, it has been such a well-received service. People have told us that it is so much more pleasant to come and sit down at the library. We talk to people. need I say, we upsell. When folks are here, we try to, you know, make sure that they have a library card. We talk about our other services, which is, there's a handout that you all should have that has, basically, it's a menu of some of the services that we offer at Southeast right now. The notary service, the passport service, test proctoring, one-on-one computer help, job search. John McFarland made this wonderful menu, and really we're focusing on what services we can provide to our community. How can we be more fully present and providing the things that our community wants, that our neighbors come in and need. So that's the first thing that we get out of it. We are able to offer evening hours for passports, for appointments that, you know, the post office can't. So we've got Mondays where we take appointments into the evening, so that helps people out. They're greatly appreciative of that. And then we get $35 for every passport that's processed. So that's, money is going into the Southeast General Fund right now. So if you look at when I did the calculations the other day, we had already brought in over $3,000, minus the postage, we're talking around $2,800. And we would love to find ways that we can put that money right back into the community. You know, can we do programming? Can we do additional services? There's me always wanting to do more, so, you know, who knows what fun things will come from that. Of course, along with the good, there have been challenges. We direct people to the library's website to make an appointment. And on the website, it has the checklist of everything they need to bring. They don't necessarily always bring everything that they're required to bring, so sometimes we have to send people away and say, come back with your birth certificate or your naturalization certificate. They bring just the copy, they don't realize they need the original, or they'll bring the wrong type of payment. A lot of people bring a credit card and think that they can pay the State Department with a credit card, and State Department only wants checks or money order. We'll take a check, money order, or cash for the library. Let's see. Fortunately for us, being in Antioch, we have several places that sell money orders right around us, so people are able to jump over, get their money order, come back, and we can still honor their appointment. So what's next with passports? I would love to see, to take our show on the road. I'd like to do some passport fairs at other branches, maybe do, you know, a Sunday afternoon at another regional branch where we could just do walk-in appointments. I could do 3 hours of just walk-ins and help people out, get people in and out. I would like to see, if this pilot program goes really well, that maybe some of the other regional branches would want to jump in and also take part and become an agency themselves. I'm willing to have people come in and talk to us and see how we're doing this. As we've gotten more comfortable with the process, it's gone from taking, 25, 30 minutes per person down to 10 to 15. So as long as we have all of the needed documents, we can move a passport application through in about 10 to 15 minutes. And speaking of the training that we've had, right now, the Charleston Passport Agency the center is scheduled to come to the Southeast branch in August to provide training for all of passport agents in this area of the state. Annually, agents are required to complete additional training, and the closest to us was Pigeon Forge. And I reached out to them and I said, will you ever have anything, closer to the Nashville area? And they said, we would love to come to Nashville. I said, I would love to have you come here. So they're going to come to Southeast and do 2 days of training for agents in this area. So we're really excited about that. That's passports in a nutshell. We're really excited to bring this. Like I said, we're really focusing on services at Southeast and providing what the community wants and meeting those demands. So if you had any questions, I'd be
Thank
glad to
you.
try to answer.
Such a needed service. Any questions? Yeah.
Can you start doing real ID?
No.
So is.
And we don't take photographs either.
Oh, so you have to show up.
You don't
to bring
take
your
photographs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
If the post office doesn't either.
Just new. We will look over, Noel asked if it was just for renewals or just for news passports, or could we do renewals? We will be glad to look over your renewal application, but you
Oh.
can send that in directly yourself. You don't need to
Okay.
go through us.
okay.
So,
For the funds going to the branch, is that consistent with other government agencies? Like, what's the post office do? Did that go to?
I don't know what the post office does.
that's-
I know at other public libraries, it's the same. I came from, I worked in Cincinnati Public Library where we did passport services, and it was the same procedure. Right now, like I said, it's going into our general fund. So we're just kind of sitting there watching it, thinking up ideas. And if other departments or other branches decided to do this, maybe we would have to rethink of where the funds go and how they're dispersed. But for now.
Nadine?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, have y'all done any outreach to any universities that could even partner with us? Only because there's so many students that are looking to study abroad within their second and third year, and so it could be a great, opportunity to really open up those doors, and as students are, considering Nashville.
Well, and
as a
especially, we've got, Nashville State is pretty much in
Right
our
there.
parking lot. Again, we've just started this on May 13th. It's definitely, it's definitely in the plans of reaching out. We're trying to get involved in like the student welcome nights that Nashville State has, and would love to have a table and say, we offer, take our menu of services. The test proctoring has become huge. And, being able to say, look, we can do passports. Hey, we can do this. So definitely on the agenda, not quite there yet.
Okay.
And the only one for which you charge is the passport, because
Because we're required to. We're required by federal government to charge that $35. If I could find a way to get away with it, I probably wouldn't charge it, but I don't want to lose that ability to offer the service.
it's tremendous.
How do you do the exam proctoring? Who does it?
We have 3 librarians that manage the exam proctoring. We just have contact with the professors. The student will contact us through the website, and then we will give them our information. We will look at our calendars to see if we're available, the dates they're interested in. Then
So I'm not clear how that, so this would be college?
college. It's usually college students. It can be.
And
real
they
estate
can come in
exams.
and do an exam online, and you make sure that everything's okay?
Right. Usually what has been happening is it's a written test. The professor will send the proctor the written test in advance. We'll print it. We'll have it for them. We'll time it, make sure that they're using only the required materials or the allowed materials. And then at the end of the exam, we'll scan it and send it back to the professor. Verify
Wow.
that there was no cheating.
It's amazing.
It always amazes me how creative and flexible you all are. Thank you.
There's a lot
Well,
going on.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It's always something that the community needs so badly. Wow.
Joyce can also,
Yes.
we have a wealth of information in this report that comes out each month. And honestly, I don't always read it. But I did read it this time, and, somebody puts a lot of work into that.
That's what she was saying earlier.
Yeah, and it's good. It's interesting. I mean, I learned something when I read it. So,
What'd you learn
thank
this
you.
time? What'd you learn this time?
Well, I saw,
And I know we go
I
to
read the
one
thing
thirty.
about special collections and the negatives that were photocopied, not photocopied, whatever you call it, digitized.
It's,
Just-
all of this is so important. When you said that, it was, so I'm on the foundation board too. And I got to talk with a man who, I want to say he was 80-something years old. And you know why he gave money to the library? He came to the library to get a copy made from the, what do you call it, copier, in the teen section?
3D printer?
The 3D printer. I couldn't get that out of my brain. The 3D printer. And at the time he did it, there was only one 3D printer. So whatever he was having to get printed, he was in line for. He decided to give money to the library so they could buy another 3D printer. And that's why he gave. So
That's something else I learned, that you can make the piece for your glasses, or fix your glasses that are broken because
He's
you can do
elderly,
it with the 3D
he
printer.
cannot come to the library, and so, but he still gives, even though we now have more than the one 3D printer. So the staff, the services, you never realize how that translates into more support. I had a lovely time talking with him. I mean, he used to bring his children, and he noticed that was a need. So the service always springs from what the need is, and people will give to that, because they know somebody else might need that. Yeah, Nadine, you were about to say something?
No, I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Goes back to the passport,
Yeah.
and the
That's amazing.
crack
It's
for help.
amazing.
You don't
Yeah.
get the same services at a library sometimes that you would at a post office.
Do
So-
you ask me
Oh,
if
you
I have a
don't
library
stand
card
in
before
line,
you help
just
me?
Wait.
Yeah, we just try to work it into conversation.
Okay.
Well, motion
Well,
to
I'm not
adjourn.
kidding about the real ID stuff, because, I mean, it's hard to get a real ID, and the rush hasn't even started yet. And as far as I know, there are only two places in Davidson County where you can get it, I think,
You go downtown, I did that.
downtown or Hart Lane, and
Well, I have a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
And there
sorry.
needs no second. So we adjourn. Goodbye. Have a good, happy
I
Juneteenth
just want to get my real
tomorrow.
ID point in.
Juneteenth tomorrow. There are fireworks at,
Fort Negley.
the park. Which park is it?
Fort Negley.
Fort Negley.
NECAT's live broadcasting them on